In a world where appearances often deceive and intentions are really pure, it's crucial to realize a sobering truth. No one is truly your friend, unless proven over time, through unwavering loyalty, silent sacrifices, and actions that speak louder than words. Behind smiles may lie envy, behind support may dwell hidden agendas. This isn't to breed paranoia, but to cultivate awareness. Trust is precious and must be earned, not given away freely. When you understand this, you no longer move with blind faith. You move with wisdom. You stop expecting loyalty from everyone and start building security within. Here are 7 powerful keynotes to anchor your discernment and self-protection in a world of masked intentions. Number 1. Loyalty is rare. Observe, don't assume. Loyalty is one of the most overused words, and yet one of the most painfully under-delivered virtues in today's world. We live in an age where people preach loyalty like it's fashionable, but abandon it when it's inconvenient. True loyalty is not loud, it's not boasted, it's shown through quiet, consistent action. It doesn't announce itself, it proves itself. Most people are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the benefit they gain from being associated with you. And the moment that benefit is gone, so are they. That's the heartbreaking reality. And if you keep assuming loyalty just because someone is present in your life, you'll be left shocked when they disappear at your lowest. Presence does not equal loyalty. Some people stick close to you not to cheer you on, but to keep tabs on your progress, to copy your moves, or to compete with you in disguise. They're not there because they care. They're there to monitor, to mirror, or to manipulate. True loyalty is tested not in the celebrations, but in your silence, in your suffering, in your stillness. Pay attention to who claps when you win, but pay closer attention to who holds your hand when you lose. Anyone can celebrate with you in the light, but only a few will walk beside you in the dark. A loyal soul doesn't need a reason to stay. They choose to. They defend you even when you're not in the room. They protect your name as fiercely as they protect their own. They don't disappear when the benefits dry up. They don't switch sides when things get uncomfortable. Their loyalty isn't seasonal, it's sacred. But in order to recognize this kind of loyalty, you need eyes trained not by fantasy but by wisdom. You need the strength to stop assuming and start observing. Time is the greatest revealer of truth. Character cannot be hidden forever. Don't confuse shared history with commitment. Just because someone has been around for years doesn't mean they're loyal. And just because someone checks in often doesn't mean they care deeply. Some people stay close because it's convenient, not because it's genuine. So stop labeling everyone in your circle as family. That title is not for those who are simply available. It's for those who have proven over and over that they will ride for you, not just sit beside you when things are good. Guard your heart. Guard your circle. Guard your peace. Don't offer your trust to just anyone. Make people earn their place in your life, not with charming words, but with consistent actions. Real loyalty shows up without being asked. It doesn't demand recognition. It doesn't fade when the spotlight dims. It stands with you in your private battles, not just your public victories. And the more you protect your energy from those who only take, the more you make space for those who truly give. Pay attention to the subtle signs. Who comforts you when you're broken? Who shows up when you have nothing to offer? Who keeps your secrets safe even when they are no longer in your life? Who speaks well of you when you're not around? Who stays silent when others criticize you? These are not little things, they are the real markers of loyalty. And most people, sadly, will fail those quiet tests. But that's okay, because each test reveals who truly belongs. Loyalty is a silent language. It's felt, not flaunted. The ones who are truly loyal don't need to shout it from the rooftops. They just show up again and again in ways that matter. In a world where so many are chasing attention, clout, and personal gain, loyalty becomes one of the rarest and most beautiful forms of wealth. So don't rush into trust. Don't be fooled by appearances. Be kind, but be cautious. Let actions reveal intentions. Let time separate the real from the fake. Because once you identify who's truly loyal, you protect your peace, your focus, and your purpose. Not everyone is your enemy, but not everyone is your friend either. And when you finally learn the difference, you'll stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. You'll start walking lighter, thinking clearer, and rising higher, surrounded not by many, but by the few who are truly with you. And that, my friend, is where your strength begins. Number 2, keep your circle small and intentions clear. In a world obsessed with numbers, followers, friends, likes, and connections, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that more people around you equals more support, more love, and more success. But the truth is quite the opposite. When it comes to your inner circle, the people you trust with your heart, your thoughts, your vision, and your vulnerabilities, less is always more. A small circle isn't a sign of weakness or isolation. It's a mark of maturity, clarity, and self-respect. The more people you allow access to your mind and energy, the more room there is for confusion, betrayal, misinterpretation, and hidden agendas. Not everyone around you has your best interest at heart. Some are there for information, others for competition, and some simply out of curiosity. That's why your circle must be intentional, not accidental. You don't need a crowd, you need alignment. You don't need bodies, you need souls who move with you in the same direction. Keeping your circle small doesn't mean you hate people. It means you value your peace, your focus, and your growth too much to let just anyone in. Your inner circle should be made of individuals who genuinely understand your purpose and want to see you win, even if it means you surpass them. They are the ones who don't feel threatened by your success, who correct you in love when you drift off course, and who speak about you with the same honor whether you're present or not. These are rare souls and they deserve to be treated as such. But to attract these kinds of people, you must first become someone who is equally intentional and clear with your energy. Set clear boundaries. Communicate your values. Be transparent with your mission. People who are aligned with you will respect your clarity. Those who aren't will either fade away or expose their true colors when they realize you can be manipulated, and that's a gift, because clarity cuts through illusion. The clearer you are about who you are and what you want, the quicker you'll discern who belongs and who doesn't. One of the biggest mistakes we make is keeping people around out of habit, history, or guilt. Just because someone has been with you since the beginning doesn't mean they meant to go with you to the end. Growth sometimes demands separation. Elevation requires isolation. As you grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, your values shift, your goals evolve, and your tolerance for drama, gossip, and that energy shrinks. Don't be afraid to outgrow people. Don't feel guilty for choosing solitude over shallow connections. You weren't born to blend in with everyone. You were born to build something meaningful. And meaningful things are rarely built in noisy, overcrowded rooms. They are crafted in the quiet company of those who truly understand the vision and are committed to walking alongside you through both storms and sunshine. Let your circle be filled with those who challenge you to think deeper, speak wiser, and act bolder. People who feed your spirit, not your ego. People who sharpen your character, not flatter your flaws. People who push you when you're slacking and praise you when you're on the right path. That kind of energy is rare, so when you find it, honor it. But also remember, to attract those people, you must also become that person. Integrity attracts integrity. Depth attracts depth. You cannot demand loyalty and authenticity from others if you are offering confusion and inconsistency in return. Make sure your intentions are clean. Be real about what you want from your relationships. Don't manipulate. Don't pretend. Be honest. Say what you mean what you say, and then watch how people either step closer or quietly exit. Both are answers. In the end, the strength of your life, your vision, and your peace depends largely on who surrounds you. One loyal person is worth more than 1,000 opportunists. One real soul can hold your spirit up when the world is trying to break it down, so don't fear the small circle. Embrace it, guard it, nurture it, let it be sacred. You are not missing out by keeping your circle tight. You are protecting what matters most, your purpose, your peace, and your power. Let others chase crowds, you chase clarity. Let others be seen by many, you be deeply known by a few. Because in the end, it's not the crowd that carries you through life. It's the circle, and the smaller and stronger that circle is, the higher you will rise. Number 3. Never share your weaknesses prematurely. In a culture that constantly encourages openness and vulnerability, it's important to remember that not everyone deserves access to the most fragile parts of your soul. While it is true that vulnerability can be a strength, it becomes a dangerous weakness when placed in the wrong hands. Sharing your wounds, fears, insecurities, and private struggles with the wrong people can lead to manipulation, betrayal, or emotional harm. The truth is, not everyone who smiles at you is a safe space. Not everyone who listens is trustworthy. Many people are curious, not compassionate. Some listen only to gather ammunition, not to offer support. That's why you must be discerning. Never share your weaknesses prematurely. Protecting your vulnerability is not being closed off. It's being wise. We often feel a deep desire to be understood, especially during our low points. When we're struggling, we crave comfort, validation, and someone to help carry the emotional weight. But in that emotional urgency, we sometimes open up to the wrong people too quickly. We confuse temporary closeness with permanent loyalty. We assume that just because someone is available, they are also trustworthy. And that assumption can cost us dearly. A weakness exposed too soon becomes a weapon in the hands of someone who hasn't earned your trust. What you shared in a moment of brokenness may later be whispered, judged, or used against you. This is how people get hurt, betrayed, and disappointed. Not because they were too emotional, but because they were too open with the wrong audience. Wisdom means learning to observe before you speak. It means listening to someone's consistency, values, and patterns before placing your emotional safety in their hands. Not everyone is capable of holding space for your truth. Some people are uncomfortable with pain that isn't theirs. Others are envious of your strength and silently rejoice when they see you struggle. And then there are those who seem supportive, but only when it benefits their image. These are not people who deserve to see your rawness. These are not people who have earned the right to hear your story. Your vulnerability is sacred. Your wounds are sacred. They are the evidence of your survival, your strength, and your depth. And they should not be shared carelessly. You must build emotional boundaries that protect your inner world from being accessed by every outsider. That doesn't mean living in isolation. It means building slow trust. It means being intentional about who you allow into your sacred spaces. Real relationships, whether friendships or deeper bonds, are built brick by brick, not dumped out in one vulnerable conversation. Share your truth in layers, not all at once. Give people time to show their integrity, their loyalty, and their emotional maturity. Watch how they handle your small truths before you reveal the deeper ones. If they gossip about others to you, they'll gossip about you to others. If they dismiss your smaller struggles, they're not ready for your deeper wounds. And if they despair during your trials, they were never meant to carry your truth in the first place. Healing often begins in solitude. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to sit with your pain, learn from it, grow through it, and rise stronger before ever inviting another soul into that process. There is a time to speak and there is a time to remain silent. When you choose silence intentionally, it becomes strength. When you keep certain battles private, you maintain control over your healing. You don't owe your vulnerability to anyone. You don't have to explain every scar or defend every emotion. You have the right to protect your heart while it's still bleeding. Eventually you will meet people who are safe, people whose hearts are clean, whose ears don't leak, and whose presence feels like peace. With them, you'll feel seen without performing, heard without judgment, and supported without strings. These are the people who earn the privilege of knowing your weaknesses, because they don't see them as failures, they see them as layers of your humanity. Until then, protect yourself, heal in silence, grow in privacy, and remember, silence doesn't mean suppression, it means preservation. In the end, your strength is not just in how much you can endure, but in how wisely you protect your soul while you heal. Don't hand your heart to temporary hands. Don't tell your story to ears that haven't earned your trust. Let time, consistency, and character be your filters. Because when you finally share your truth with the right soul, it won't feel risky, it will feel safe. And until that moment comes, guard your spirit. Your weakness is not your shame, but it is your responsibility to protect. Number 4, beware of over-friendly faces. In a world where masks are common and sincerity is rare, one of the most dangerous illusions you ever face is the overly friendly face. The one that smiles too wide, compliments too frequently, and offers help too eagerly, without any real depth of relationship or consistency of action. It's easy to confuse friendliness with goodness, charm with character, and words with intentions. But let this be a lesson. Not every friendly face is a faithful heart. In fact, some of the most dangerous people in your life will be the ones who never showed you a single sign of hostility, but showered you with praise, flattery, and false warmth to gain your trust. Over-friendliness can be a mask for manipulation. It's often used to bypass your discernment, disarm your boundaries, and gain quick access to your mind, your trust, and your resources. Beware of those who rush intimacy. True relationships, whether personal, professional, or spiritual, are built slowly through time, tests, shared values, and mutual understanding. When someone skips the process and tries to instantly become your best friend, brother, or sister, pause and ask yourself why. Genuine connections don't need to be forced or exaggerated, but manipulative people will often overcompensate with words to make up for the lack of genuine action. They'll flatter you endlessly, align themselves with your values quickly, and pretend to be overly invested in your journey from the start. Not because they love you, but because they're trying to position themselves for gain. Some want information, others want influence, and some just want the privilege of saying they're close to you. Their smile is strategic, their kindness is conditional, their energy is transactional. You must learn to see beyond charm. Charm is not a fruit of character, it's a tool of persuasion. And while not every charming person is fake, every manipulative person knows how to use charm. They know how to say what you want to hear, how to mirror your language, how to make you feel understood. But what they lack is consistency. Watch for that. Over-friendly people often come in like a storm, fast, loud, impressive, but when you need them most, they disappear like smoke. That's because their interest was never in you, it was in what they could get from being near you. So instead of getting swayed by appearances, observe behavior over time. Consistency is always the proof of truth. Loyalty is not proven in the good days, but in the silent ones. Support is not measured by the loudest cheer, but by the quiet, constant presence. Over-friendliness is also a tactic used by those who want to bypass your discernment. When someone is too quick to praise, too eager to help, or constantly showers you with excessive admiration, ask yourself, what are they really after? True love doesn't need to sell itself. True support doesn't need to be loud. People with pure intentions don't rush. They respect your boundaries. They observe first, and they show up consistently without needing to advertise it. Manipulators, on the other hand, rely on urgency. They'll try to create an emotional bond fast so they can exploit it later. This is why so many people feel betrayed not by their enemies, but by those who seemed so nice in the beginning, because what felt like sincerity was just a strategy. And by the time the mask comes off, it's often too late. The damage is already done. So how do you protect yourself? The answer is simple, but it requires discipline. Give people time to reveal themselves. Stop rushing to trust. Stop confusing charm with character. Don't be afraid to keep your emotional distance until you've seen how someone behaves when they have nothing to gain. Let them prove themselves in the dark before you welcome them into your light. Pay attention to how they treat people who can't benefit them. Notice if their kindness is universal or selective. Do they shift depending on who's watching? Do they overpromise and underdeliver? Do they try too hard to be liked by everyone? These are signs of someone who's performing, not connecting. Also, listen to your intuition. Your spirit knows when something doesn't feel right. That subtle discomfort you feel around someone who's too nice is often a signal. Don't silence it just because they're smiling. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who make you feel safest too quickly. Real love, real friendship, and real loyalty are built, not bought, not faked, not forced. In the end, don't be paranoid, but do be wise. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not every hug is sincere. And not every kind word is rooted in love. Some people study you just to use you. Some people compliment you just to lower your guard. But once you learn to pause, observe, and test the spirit behind the smile, you'll gain a new level of peace and protection. Remember, wolves don't always snarl. Sometimes they smile. Number 5. Protect your energy from emotional leeches. Your energy is your life force. It fuels your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. Who and what you allow access to that energy determines the quality of your life. Yet so many people walk around drained, mentally foggy, emotionally exhausted, and spiritually depleted, not because of their workload or circumstances, but because of the people they allow too close. Emotional leeches are individuals who feed off your time, attention, empathy, and peace without offering anything in return. They may not come with fangs or open malice. In fact, most of them appear needy, charming, or even well-meaning. But beneath the surface, they are constantly pulling from you. They depend on your energy to feel better about themselves while leaving you empty. If you don't learn to recognize and protect yourself from these people, you will find yourself living in a cycle of burnout and confusion, wondering why you're always tired, why you're losing focus, and why your peace seems to disappear every time certain people come around. Emotional leeches are often subtle. They present themselves as victims in constant need of rescue, advice, or attention. They are always going through something, always asking for your time, your ear, your emotional labor, but never showing real signs of change, growth, or gratitude. They expect you to carry their weight while refusing to lift their own. Over time, these one-sided interactions turn toxic. You start to feel responsible for their feelings, their failures, their chaos. You begin to silence your own needs just to accommodate theirs. And the worst part, the moment you set boundaries or pull back, they make you feel guilty for doing so. That's their weapon, guilt. Emotional leeches manipulate your kindness and compassion to keep you tied to their endless need. They don't want healing, they want attachment. They don't want solutions, they want attention. And if you don't draw the line, they'll drain you dry and still ask for more. The truth is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't save people who don't want to be saved, and you were never meant to be anyone's emotional dumping ground. It is not selfish to protect your energy, it is essential. Just like you guard your home from intruders, you must guard your spirit from those who invade your peace. Start by identifying the patterns. Who makes you feel heavy after every conversation? Who brings more drama than support? who takes your advice but never changes, who only reaches out when they need something. These are signs. Don't ignore them. People show you who they are in the way they respect your time, your boundaries, and your emotional bandwidth. Believe those signs the first time. Setting boundaries is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of clarity. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. And if you keep giving unlimited access to people who deplete you, they will continue to believe they are entitled to your energy. Start saying no without explaining yourself. Limit conversations that always revolve around the same complaints. Withdraw from people who bring chaos without accountability. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Your clarity, your creativity, your healing, and your purpose all depend on how well you manage your emotional space. The more you protect it, the more powerful you become. Also, remember this. Not everyone is meant to go with you on your journey. Some people are meant to be lessons, not lifelong companions. And sometimes the hardest part of growth is realizing that love is not enough to sustain a relationship. Mutual respect, responsibility, and emotional balance are. If someone continuously takes from you without ever filling your cup, it is your responsibility to walk away. Let them call you cold, distant, or selfish if they must. Your peace is not up for negotiation. The beautiful truth is, when you remove emotional leeches from your life, you make room for genuine, life-giving connections. You start attracting people who don't just take, but give. People who inspire, uplift, and pour into you as much as you pour into them. These are the relationships that fuel your purpose and restore your spirit. So be ruthless with your energy. Be intentional with your circle. You are not here to be drained. You are here to shine. Protect your light at all costs, because the world needs your full, vibrant, unburdened self, not the exhausted version others have siphoned dry. Let your peace become your power, and let your boundaries become your protection. Number 6. Your success will reveal true colors. Success is a mirror. It not only reflects the growth, discipline, and strength within you, it also exposes the truth about the people around you. As you rise, evolve, and begin to outgrow your old patterns and limitations, you begin to see people in a new light. Not because they've changed, but because you have. And perhaps the most startling discovery of personal growth is realizing how many people only liked you better when you were struggling. Your success, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, or spiritual, will challenge others. It will make some uncomfortable, jealous, distant, or even hostile, especially if they're not secure in themselves. The same people who once cheered for you when you were at the bottom may grow silent or even resentful when you begin to rise. And that silence, that discomfort, that sudden shift, those are revelations. They are signs that success doesn't change people. It simply reveals who they really were all along. At first, it may hurt. People you called friends may begin to criticize you more subtly. They may throw backhanded compliments like, "You've changed," or "Don't forget where you came from." What they're really saying is, "I liked you better when you were small, insecure, and easy to control." Success makes people see you differently, but it also makes you see them differently. As you level up, you begin to feel a strange emotional gap. The jokes you used to laugh at no longer feel funny. The habits you used to share with others now feel like poison. The conversations that once connected you now drain you. This distance isn't arrogance, it's alignment. When you grow, not everyone will grow with you, and that's okay. You're not meant to shrink yourself to stay relatable. You're meant to expand, evolve, and embrace the fullness of who you were born to be, even if that means losing people along the way. One of the clearest signs of someone's true character is how they respond to your wins. Do they clap when no one's watching? Do they celebrate your glow up without inserting their own insecurities? Or do they downplay your efforts, disappear from your victories, or start acting cold when you're doing well? Pay attention. Real supporters don't get threatened by your light. They get inspired by it. They don't compete with you. They rise with you. They don't feel the need to minimize your blessings. They magnify them. But people who secretly viewed your struggle as a comfort zone for their ego will begin to retreat when your growth starts to outshine their stagnancy. And that's where many people get stuck. They try to dull their light to keep others comfortable. They minimize their wins to avoid jealousy. They play small to avoid making others feel insecure. But dimming your success won't protect you from their bitterness. It will only rob you of your destiny. True relationships are tested not in hardship but in elevation. Anyone can show up when you're broken because helping the wounded makes them feel superior. But will they still stand by you when you're thriving? When you no longer need their emotional rescue? When your life starts reflecting what they've been too afraid to pursue? Success is a filter. It separates the genuine from the opportunistic. Some people loved the version of you who was lost, struggling and doubting yourself. Because they could handle that version, they felt needed. But when you step into confidence, discipline and purpose, you begin to trigger parts of themselves they haven't healed. And instead of doing the work, they project their resentment onto you. So what do? You keep shining, you keep building. You stop explaining your growth to people committed to misunderstanding it. You stop begging for loyalty from people who never had it to begin with. You don't water yourself down. You learn to protect your peace while staying rooted in grace. Wish those who distance themselves the best, but never stop moving forward. The ones who truly love you will never shrink in your shadow. They'll stand in the light with you. They'll cheer your evolution, not fear it. They'll celebrate your abundance, not compete with it. In the end, success is not just about gaining wealth, status, or recognition. It's about becoming undeniably you. And that version of you deserves to be surrounded by people who clap with their whole heart, who grow beside you and who love you at every level, not just the one they're comfortable with. So let your success speak. Let it reveal, let it clean your space. Because when the falls away, what remains is real. And in that truth there is peace. Number 7, be kind but not naive. Kindness is a powerful force. It heals, uplifts and creates ripples of light in a world that often feels dark. But in your journey through life, one of the most essential lessons you must learn is that kindness without wisdom invites harm. There is a fine line between having a good heart and being taken advantage of, between offering grace and becoming a doormat. The world doesn't always reward kindness, it often exploits it. That's why you must learn how to carry a soft heart and a sharp mind. You can be kind and still say no. You can be generous without being used. You can forgive without allowing repeat offenses. You can walk with compassion without inviting chaos. In short, be kind, but never naive. Too many people confuse being kind with being available for everything, tolerating disrespect or ignoring red flags. That is not kindness, that's self-betrayal. True kindness begins with boundaries. It means treating others with respect and dignity without compromising your own. When you lack boundaries, you invite people to misuse your time, your energy, and your trust. And the more they take, the more they expect. Before long, you find yourself exhausted, resentful and confused, wondering how being good turned into being used. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change. You were not put on this earth to fix broken people who refuse to heal. You were not created to carry everyone else's burden at the expense of your own well-being. You were born to shine, to serve wisely and to walk in peace, not to be drained in the name of kindness. The truth is, not everyone deserves access to your goodness. Some people come into your life not to build with you, but to break you. They will test your patience, manipulate your compassion, and mistake your silence for weakness. They will push your limits to see how far you'll bend. And if you keep giving without limits, they will keep taking without guilt. This is why discernment is so important. You must learn to see people not just for who they pretend to be, but for how they behave consistently. Pay attention to the ones who only reach out when they need something. Notice who disappears when you're not useful. Observe who claps for your growth and who grows distant. These little things reveal so much. Kindness must be rooted in awareness. Otherwise, it becomes a gateway for emotional theft. Being wise with your kindness doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. It means helping without losing yourself. It means speaking up when something doesn't feel right. It means not confusing forgiveness with re-entry. You can release someone in love and still protect your peace. You can support others from a distance without letting them occupy your mind, your home, or your soul. Wisdom tells you when to lean in and when to step back. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for both you and the other person is walk away. Part of maturing emotionally is realizing that your kindness is a gift, not an obligation. You don't owe it to everyone. You don't have to explain your boundaries. You don't need to feel guilty for protecting your energy. If someone makes you feel bad for standing up for yourself, they were never respecting you to begin with. The right people will never make you choose between your kindness and your sanity. They will honor your limits, reciprocate your efforts, and never mistake your humility for weakness. The goal in life isn't to become hardened or detached. It's to remain soft in a world that's rough, but with armor made of truth. To be open-hearted, not wide open. To be helpful, not helpless. To be loving, not lacking self-love. Kindness is not about sacrificing your values. It's about expressing them with clarity and strength. It's about choosing compassion without inviting manipulation. It's about staying true to your nature without becoming prey to someone else's dysfunction. So protect your light, share it wisely. Let your kindness be a conscious choice, not a reckless reflex. The world doesn't need more people who are merely nice. It needs people who are kind, clear, and courageous. Who know when to open their arms and when to walk away. Who live with grace, but not gullibility. And who understand this truth. You can be kind and still carry a sword. You can be gentle and still protect your spirit. You can be loving and still be lethal when it comes to guarding your peace. That's not contradiction, that's strength. That's balance. That's wisdom. In this life, trust is sacred, energy is precious, and discernment is survival. No one